Hey guys, Dr. Stephanie here, and today I'm going to show you the best stretch for stretching your hip flexors. So the hip flexors are those muscles right in the front of your hip here, the iliopsoas. We're going to specifically focus on the psoas muscle that comes down here, attaches to your femur, this thigh bone here, and the motion that it does is bringing your knee up towards your chest. So I know that muscle gets tight a lot. We do a lot of sitting. A lot of people spend their lives in that anterior pelvic tilt position. That can kind of shorten those hip flexors. And it's hard to stretch the hip flexors. There's a ton of stretches out there. And if you don't do them correctly, then you're not really stretching that hip flexor. So I'm going to show you my favorite exercise for stretching the hip flexor and how to do it correctly. So we're going to start in a half kneeling position. So kneel here, place one foot here. And the hip flexor we're stretching is the leg with the knee on the ground. So we're stretching this left one here. So there's a couple steps to do this properly, because if you don't do this properly, if you lean forward too much, if you're too wiggly, then you're not really going to stretch that hip flexor. So starting in this position, you're going to keep your trunk straight up and down. You don't want to lean forward. You don't want to lean backwards, because then we're not really getting that hip flexor stretch. So from here, and most people are in this kind of anterior pelvic tilt, to really stretch that hip flexor, we want to put ourselves in a posterior pelvic tilt. So if you can see me do this, you're going to kind of bring your pelvis backwards, kind of tuck your butt underneath. So kind of, and you're just moving the hips here. You don't want any of the rest of you moving. So kind of do that posterior pelvic tilt. And just by doing that, you may feel a little bit of a stretch here. So kind of tuck under. Then you're going to squeeze your glutes. That gets just a deeper stretch there. Then we're going to take both hands, press that on our front knee, keeping our trunk tall. Pressing there kind of activates the deep core muscles. And then we're going to slightly shift forward, trying to maintain that posterior pelvic tilt, trying to maintain that glute squeeze, and slightly pressing down on that knee. Hold for 5 to 10 seconds, and then relax everything and come back. So then you would repeat again. So again, posterior pelvic tilt, kind of tuck those hips under, squeeze those glutes, press down on that front knee, and shift forward. And you should feel a stretch right here. And you just want to hold 5 to 10 seconds and then relax. And you can, usually I say repeat that 5 to 10 times on each side.